The most dangerous thing you can do as a creative is to wait until you have better gear. I know because I've been there. I got the expensive cameras, the lenses, all of it, and it just felt so shallow. So I left it all behind and took only my iPhone, and something shifted within me. It gave me a sense of accomplishment no camera ever had. Because there's no friction. It's just you and your creative thoughts. There's no rules, no pressure, just you and the world in front of you. And that's when I realized it's never about the gear. It's about how you see the world and having the courage just to go film it. So this is me proving it. Everything you're watching right now, shot entirely on an iPhone. This video is powered by PGY Tech. In this video, I want to teach you everything that I know to elevate your iPhone filmmaking. We'll cover must-have accessories, camera settings, filmmaking tips, and how to edit with and without LUTs. The heart and soul of this is the iPhone 17 Pro, and we'll start off with the PGY Tech ProShot Video Cage Kit. It's a very simple kit where it protects your phone and also allows you to attach everything you need for your iPhone filmmaking. The cage has 2 layers and you put your phone in between. And the way this holds in my hands is actually really nice, and it's a little bit more lower profile than most cages in the market. And we also have a 67mm filter adapter, so you can use your existing camera filters like a variable ND filter, which is like sunglasses for your camera. If you want some stability, this kit also includes 2 lightweight handles that have quick release systems, so you can easily set it up or break it down fast. You can adjust the angles of the handles as well based on your filming preference. There are cold shoe mounts on the top, and if you'd like, there's also a Bluetooth control for stop, start recording, and a dial for any setting you want to control with ease. One thing that is unique about these handles is that inside is actually an empty shell. You can opt in for a battery module to help you film longer, or a built-in SSD module so you can directly record to a drive. You'd have to buy the SSD separately though, but it's cheaper than most because you already have the enclosure. You can also add in this ProShot mounting adapter kit so you can quickly attach it to a tripod or some accessories like small fill lights if you do need it. Now, I was thinking of adding a gimbal to this setup, but I think it's not an option because it's a little bit too cumbersome unless I'm doing paid work. If I'm just traveling and I want to get some beautiful shots, almost always a well-composed still shot works better than movement. Sometimes with movement, we kind of lose the soul of the shot and it gets distracting, especially if you're just moving the camera aimlessly. You need to have intention with your shots, especially with movement. I use the Blackmagic camera app and it's completely free. This allows me to dial in the settings for my camera manually. Now, PGY Tech also has a free app, and that is a little bit more user-friendly if the Blackmagic app kind of overwhelms you. Okay, so let's go on the Blackmagic app and let's set it up. Codec is a lot, but basically Apple ProRes RAW HQ is the highest quality you can get from this phone. But big thing is, it'll eat your storage like crazy, and it'll require external storage like an external SSD. It'll also disable any in-camera stabilization, so you'd have to stabilize in post. What I personally use is the HEVC, and this is the H.265 codec, because these videos are going to social media and I want to save on storage space. So for everyday stuff and social media, this is my preference. Unless I'm filming a professional gig that the client specifically requested for an iPhone. What I love about the H.265 codec is that the file sizes are way smaller than the ProRes version. One little catch though, since this is a compressed format, your image quality is gonna take a hit by just a little bit. And if you're looking things on your phone anyways, you're barely gonna notice. For bitrate, we'll set it to max, and the color space, we'll set it to Apple Log 2. This is their newest one, and it's very similar to the Apple Log 1, but it has a slightly upgraded color science. And shooting in Log will give you this flat, boring footage. Log is used for you to open up a bigger color space so you can have flexibility in post. Then we'll move into LUTs. This is our preview, and unless you don't want to edit in post, you can enable Record LUT to Clip. Let's go to LUTs Manager, and here you have many different looks. Most of them are actually terrible, and we'll only use this for reference. And so far, we're only going to turn off everything but the Rec 709 Natural. You can also import your own LUTs here. Okay, so let's go back to the main camera feed. The iPhone actually has 3 different cameras. One for wide 0.5, one for the 1x, the main camera and the best camera, and one for telephoto, which is the 4x. To get the best look, we will stick to the 1x camera since it has the biggest sensor size compared to the other 2. The reason being is that it lets you in more light and you'll get a better exposure for your images. If you really need to use the wide angle or telephoto, you can do so as well because they are pretty decent. But for now, we'll stick with the 1x, which is equivalent to 24mm. For the FPS, I choose 24, and you can also use 30 or 60 or 120 if you really want. These are options for you if you want to use slow motion or have a different look. But in my opinion, the most movie-like look is 24 frames per second, and then we'll set the shutter at 1/40th or 100-degree shutter angle. Basically, it's going to give you the most natural looking motion blur for your shots. ISO is variable. I usually go the lowest, like under 100 if I can, but if I do need to, I'll increase it for low light shots. So in this app, you also have a lot of exposure tools and framing tools, but for me, there's only 3 things that I use consistently, which is the rule of thirds, the zebras, and the false color. Next is the LUT. We just turn it on and use Rec 709 neutral, so we kind of get a preview of what it would look like when we convert that log footage back to Rec 709. You might ask, what is Rec 709? Well, Rec 709 is just a color space for most everyday devices like phones, TVs, or computers. So the reason we use log is to edit the colors in post in a wider color space. And once we're done, we're gonna squeeze all of that colors into the Rec 709 color space, which essentially gives us better color gradations from log rather than editing straight from Rec 709. For exposure, I'll make this super simple. Make sure that there's no clipping and expose your footage as to what you think looks good. What you see is kind of what you get. I also kind of tend to bring up the exposure just a little bit because the highlights can be easily recovered and compressed. If you see that highlights or shadows are completely clipped, like there's no more information in there, that means either your shot is overexposed or underexposed. Since our shutter and aperture are locked into one value, we have the ISO as a variable. Again, use the lowest as you can, like under 100 or 200. If the ISO is still not enough to bring down the exposure, we'll need a variable ND filter. This is why we need the 67mm filter adapter from PGY-TECH, because it'll be our way to bring down the exposure as we need it. There's also a tool called Zebras, and I usually put this on 85%. This is so that the sky and any harsher light won't be blown out, and I really like this because it gives me the best highlight roll-off for wide scenes, and I know it won't be blown out. Then for shots with people, I click the MG+1, which is middle gray +1. So it shows me one stop above middle gray, and middle gray is a good reference for exposing subjects. Just make sure it makes sense with the scene and the mood you're trying to capture. Okay, so I'm gonna fire off some rapid fire quick tips. First is to shoot wides. Consider this as your establishing shot for most videos. You're introducing the viewer to what the environment is. This will set the mood of what to expect into the video. Second is picking the right music. This dictates the moods as well, so be considerate about your music choice. You can't put heavy metal into a peaceful nature scene. I mean, you can. But you'd really have to be intentional to work it into your story. Third, speaking of wides, add in people in there. If the place gets crowded, just leave it crowded. It'll add some realism in there, and not everything needs to be an empty location. And people forget that life isn't perfect, and we can't always get the perfect shot, especially in public. Hone into what gives the frame life, and the easiest way to do that is to include people in there. Just make sure to have them kind of indistinguishable because they didn't really sign up to be in your video, and a slight blur can be easily done without ruining the entire frame. Fourth is plan your shots and also learn to let go of shots if you did not get it, especially if you're traveling. You're only there for a limited time. Try to capture something and move on and enjoy being at your destination. And arguably one of the most important things is that shoot at pleasing times. That means if you're filming at high noon, most likely it's harsh lighting and that you won't get pleasing looks. You can, but it's a little bit tougher. If you want it on easy mode, film during the early morning or late afternoon until sunset. If you notice, the best looking videos on Instagram or on here on YouTube are almost always shot at these times. I recommend getting a Sunseeker app to figure out where the sun will be at your location, and it's a little bit of an extra step, but you'll know exactly if it's worth filming that time or not. So let's say you're done filming for the day and you can actually just take out the SSD handle from the ProShot kit and connect it straight to your computer. I mean, you can back it up first or even just directly edit from there, or both. So this is how you process Apple Log 2 footage specifically on DaVinci Resolve. First, with conversion LUTs, specifically for iPhone Log. This way, it's designed to work with Apple colors. Just note that all LUTs do not work the same. Some are made for looks and some are made for conversions. I've designed a free neutral iPhone LUT for you to use, and it's available down below. And it's designed based on what I like to have as base colors and then push it from there. Second is kind of like a little bit more complicated version of it, but it's actually the proper way to handle log footage. This is with color space transform, or CST for short. Your last node is CST, and from here we choose Apple and then log 2. And then the output is Rec 709 and Gamma 2.4 for standard conversion. Now, why do we put it as the last node? Because whatever you change, like exposure, white balance, your color grade, it's all happening inside the Apple Log 2 color space. Like I said, it's a wider color space, and so that you have more color information to pull from. And then after that, converting it all to Rec 709. And then if you do the Rec 709 and you don't shoot in log, you're going to be stuck with limited colors and whatever is available in that color space. So you have a bigger amount of space, and then we're compressing it all to the small Rec 709 color space. And that's basically kind of like, hopefully that's the easiest way to explain it. So that's everything you need to elevate your iPhone filmmaking. If you apply these new skills you've learned, you'll get a much better video coming out of your iPhone. Now with the PGY Tech ProShot kit, I have a legitimate workflow that rivals what I used to do with my mirrorless setup. If you're serious about your iPhone filmmaking, these are the must-haves that actually matter. Everything is down below in the description alongside with the discount code, so take advantage of that if you can. If you have any questions about anything we've covered, let me know in the comments down below. And if you like my colors and want your edits to feel like a memory, everything is on my website. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Peace.